And we are live, coming at you with session 7? Question mark? Is that right? Yes. Look at me. I knew a thing. Um, so we're coming at you with session 7 of the My Little Pony campaign. Right now, I still have it listed as session 1 of the Dead Sons reboot. That's wrong, so I'll fix that later. Don't worry about it. If anyone is actually unfortunate enough to be watching this live. Let's get started like we always do, and it's going to be especially pertinent today because I think it's been a bit. Does anybody remember what was happening last time?
I remember we started out in the tower, and then we went down the stairs. Is that when we figured out the number door puzzle?
Yeah, so you went down the stairs, and you went to where the number door puzzle is, and then the roof collapsed on you. A second time over where you used the bombs to blow up the grating, which is a large part of why the roof collapsed on you, is because you were using bombs in an unstable area that the roof had already collapsed a bit once.
Oops.
Then you figured out, well, first Anna entered 666 as the code and almost got everyone killed. Then, after a trip to the magic healing fountain, you guys came back and gave it some actual thought and figured out what the code should be.
666 was a good guess.
Yeah, no, great guess. That was never going to go wrong. But no, it was 255, which Cinnamon Bubbles figured out based off of the fact that he had read in one of the other rooms that the Pirate Lords return every 255 years to combat the evil that seems to be causing this event that you guys are dealing with, where the ocean is being drained away in a giant whirlpool. So then you guys also, after opening the door, remember what was inside.
There was a big boat!
Indeed it was. So you guys discovered the SS BFF, the Pirate Lord's legendary vessel. Minty Chips and Cinnamon Bubbles decided to stay on board. Minty Chips because she was not going to be pried away from her time hugging the... it's not a steering wheel. What's that wheel in the front? There's a better name for it.
Captain's wheel.
Is it the capstan? Is that what that is? Anyway, she would not be pried away from the wheel, and Cinnamon Bubbles was doing some investigation reading through a library that he had found on board. The rest of the party returned back to the main hall, where you guys currently are, and discovered a friendly little slime buddy, Gerbers. Then you proceeded to thoroughly loot the place of everything valuable. You were even able, based off of different clues, to figure out which of the previous pirate lords each of the rooms belonged to. And that's kind of where we are now. You've just finished picking everything clean.
Okay.
Sugar Song comes up and says, "Guys, you know what? I remember that kitchen, and I found some supplies in one of these rooms. I'm gonna go cook the biggest cupcake you've ever seen," and then runs away.
Hell yeah. I'm excited about the cupcake.
So, Cinnamon Star slightly adjusts her glasses and goes, "That's going to be a very large cupcake."
Cogsworth is over talking to Gerbers.
I hope it's chocolate flavored. Like with
know.
lots of chocolate icing, preferably.
So Cogsworth comes away and says, "I've been speaking to Mr. Goebbels over here, and it seems that his master was also my creator. Apparently, the previous pirate lords left here, best I can gather from his largely unintelligible two-word sentences, at least 100 years ago. I appear to have been left here as a custodian in their absence, and well, I haven't exactly done the greatest job given the state you found me in. I seem to have run out of fuel. The best I can think is that I got a bit absent-minded and simply forgot to fuel myself up, and after running low, was locked in place where you found me. Bit embarrassing, I'm afraid.
That's alright. It happens to everybody sometimes. It's a good thing we found you.
Oh, yes, indeed. Who knows how long I would have been there. However, as I'm sure you're aware, your presence here and your having become the next pirate lord seems to indicate that the cycle is once again begun, and the main drain will begin draining the oceans. We have some time. The oceans are, as you would imagine, not exactly small, but we will need to deal with this post haste.
Yeah, I would think so.
Onwards, then.
Yes. Um, Before we proceed, would you like to explore the grounds any further? I'm afraid I have largely forgotten. I know the island's general geography. That it is a large, relatively round island. It's kind of got a point toward the bottom and two little lumps at the top. I suppose if you were to view it from above, you could say it was more or less heart-shaped. And the entire thing is surrounded by high cliffs. Usually the ocean comes up to where there's about 25 to 30 foot of cliff face. Beyond that, I'm afraid I can't remember any real details.
Let's go exploring.
I definitely feel that we should explore the grounds and fill in the gaps in our knowledge, especially if this is to become our main base of operations.
Indeed. I have instructed Gerbers to the best of my ability, and we will see what his abilities are to attempt to tidy up the place and hopefully get things a little bit more well, pleasant in here. As he says that as a large drop of water comes off of the ceiling and splashes directly onto his nose. And it's not the only leak. The roof is in not the greatest repair.
I think that if Gerber's going to be tidying up, we should probably close all the doors to the bedrooms if we don't want them to be, gone.
Oh yes,
The
indeed.
stuff in them, that is.
I would wholeheartedly agree with you. Why don't you guys begin exploring the exterior, and I will do what I can to get things started in here. Especially, I will try to see that the roof is in decent repair within the next couple of hours so that we can leave. Okay. So
the door is locked.
indeed it is.
No.
You go up to the door. That door actually leads down. As you open it, you can see the stairway that leads down. If you remember where poor little Salt and Pepper got cut in half because he was being used as a bomb dog, the other door you open. The other door you open, and you can see it leads out into a large grassy area. Ignore any random floating shadows. It's from doors that I moved outdoors so that you could walk through. So if you see something weird, I am currently cleaning up. So if you explore, the storm still rages on around you. As you explore some of the trees and bushes around, you can see small animals hiding from the storm to the best of their ability. If you go toward the northwest, in this general area, let's see if I can do it there, you'll find a large hole. Where you are currently exploring, you will find a small dock, which seems to be in rough repair. If it weren't for your horseshoed hooves, it is likely that it would be a splitter hazard. But there's a small pond. Various fish are swimming around, many of them jumping hungrily at the insects that are pushed down by the rain. Cinnamon Star, I would imagine you are curious about that tree to your right.
Yeah, I was saying I want to read the sign, but then I forgot to push the button and then you were talking.
Yes. So me. There you go. Why don't you go ahead and
Beware
read
when the
that?
lilac moon waxes full and the cry of the saltbird echoes across the waves.
Yes. There's a sign that seems to have been written in a shaky hand. The jagged letters written like gashes, knifed into soft flesh.
Wait, there's flesh like on the sign?
No, but the shape of the letters, which have been written in a shaky hand, are reminiscent of
Oh, gotcha.
gashes knifed into soft flesh.
Spooky. Feels like Halloween out here.
And then clearly, of course, you see the ring of mushrooms in front of the tree.
Yeah, I'm gonna step inside the ring of mushrooms and do a little dance.
Okay. You feel the extremities of your body begin to grow numb and tingle, but otherwise you seem largely unaffected. However, that is clearly not natural, and you, being attuned to the magical energies of this world, definitely sense a strong presence in that area.
Yoicks. Let's keep note of that.
I found the outside of that tower we were in earlier.
Indeed. And yes, because I didn't put any walls around it, you can technically walk straight into it. But it's actually 30 feet up, so.
And ow!
But yeah, in reality, it is not so simple as just walking in.
Well, the island seems pretty cool. Definitely getting a little wet and cold.
Yes.
Yeah, we better go back inside. But I'm a map completionist.
So, Star adjusts her glasses again and goes, I think we should at least do a exploration of the perimeter before we head.
But I can tell you, you've actually found almost all of the interesting things. The only remaining one would be the one that you just ran past, Caramel Kisses. There seems to be a fairly large animal den. From inside, you can hear a thrumming, vibrating sound, something akin to a kitten purring, or perhaps a large animal breathing heavily or snoring. It seems large enough that if you were to crouch down, it would be possible to go inside. However, a foul smell and an oppressive aura seems to pour out of the dark entrance.
Dude, come check this out. I found something.
Not sure where Rebecca ended up.
I don't know! I'm lost! I can't find my token!
There you are. I found you. Top left if you actually are having trouble finding your token.
Oh, there we go. I was exploring and I was like, I'll just jump past the building. And then I kept looking all over the map and I couldn't find me.
I couldn't either. I was scrolling all over the place.
Should we see what's in there?
I'm thinking dragon. So I'm not sure. Maybe we should get the rest of the cat.
Okay, we'll wait.
I feel like we should at least go try and get Minty chips because she just seems like she'd be really handy in this situation.
That makes sense. Let's go back inside.
Is there anything cool about the log?
It's over the path, and very much at an inconvenient place if you want to be able to use the path. It seems the path used to lead over to the dock at the lake, but over time, most of it has worn away, and what you can see below you is the only part that remains. The rest of it has been reclaimed by nature as grass grows over it.
255 years is a long time.
Yeah. We'll make a new one.
Okay, dry, nice, warm.
Okay. As you come back in, you can see Gerber is sitting over a pile of rubble, and didn't mean to move the fire. Is using his slime abilities to dissolve it away. Seems to be his version of cleaning things up.
I lay all 4 of my hooves up near the fire, and I lay down, and I'm like, ooh.
There's actually
Nice.
also, if you want to take a hot bath, you guys found a hot tub in the room in the bottom left.
No, I'm like in the fire. I need to dry off.
Cogsworth, meanwhile, is up in the rafters, and you can see him patching a few spaces, and then after a couple of minutes, he heads outdoors to presumably do some work on the shingling.
Oh, I do hope Cogsworth was well oiled. This rain can't be good for his joints.
So, as you guys sit by the fire, it is. I can open that door for you. Oh.
So
Definitely cool.
Cinnamon Star grabs a random book with a bright green cover and then heads back to the fire.
Okay. So you look at the book. It seems to be in Far Eastern language, one that you're actually quite familiar with, as it is actually from your homeland.
Sweet.
You're a bit surprised to see that, but as you begin flipping through the pages, you see it as a tome of old legends and fairy tales, many of which you are familiar with. One of them in particular that catches your eye is the story of the fox and the red snake. It's the tale of a the son of a nobleman, one destined to become the future ruler of the land, who strikes out on a journey to what was it you guys were trying to get? It was some sort of crystals or spheres. I should remember this. I wrote the entire thing. Now I feel dumb.
Oh, that's okay. Everybody forgets stuff from time to time.
Ah, where's my notes on this guy? Here we go. Loading. Okay. So you were to he was sent on a quest to meet each of the six elemental dragons. Each one oh right. Okay. So the story starts off with this man having his soul taken and splintered into 6 pieces, each one given to an elemental dragon. He's then sent on a quest to retrieve the individual pieces of his soul from each of the elemental dragons by overcoming challenges and completing quests. On the way, he is joined by his childhood friend, an incredibly strong man named. Why do I have such terrible notes from this? Something Kuma. Uh, Named Kuma. I'm going to go with that because I can't remember. who was a wild man with the strength of a bear, and also by what was your name? All I can remember now is Kima.
I don't remember.
Wow, okay. I know where I have this information. This is depressing that we've already forgotten this. Interesting. And where is Anna? I thought she'd be here by now. Oh, she is. She's just on mute. Can you hear us yet, Anna?
Oh yeah, I can hear you. I just didn't want to interrupt. Seemed like
we were
important things
waiting
we're
on
talking
you.
about.
We were actually literally just killing time. Waiting for you to get here.
Yeah, no, I'm here.
Okay.
Hey,
So then, finally, having dragged herself away from the capstan, Minty Chip appears.
Da-da-da! The party has arrived. I have literally no idea what's going on, guys.
We explored the outdoors, and I know it's still storming, but we found a really cool cave.
And I think
And we think there's
an echo
something
coming
inside.
from your mic.
There's a really bad echo.
I'll put headphones on. I gotta find headphones. All right, let's see. This one looks like it's got a microphone on it. I'm really proud of myself. We've got a hook on the wall that has all of our headphones on it so that they don't get lost.
Nice.
So only half of them are lost.
I mean, that's an improvement from all of them.
This is true. Alright, let's see. Plug these in. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can still hear you.
I cannot hear you through the headphones. That's not good.
Yeah, there's still an echo too. I think you're gonna need to go into Discord and under the voice and video settings, you can set the input and the output device.
Yeah. Let's see.
So just make sure they're both set to the headphones. Or at least the output device. Whatever your input device is, it's fine.
Alright, let's see. Do. Usually it transfers over like automatically.
Yeah, a lot of the time. Kawa!
might just be
That
those
was your
headphones.
character's name, Rebecca. Kawa Byakuren.
Apparently, I like really weird names.
The only thing I could come up with was Kima, which is your current character.
Alright, I'm gonna try like hanging up and calling back just a second.
Okay. So yes, Kawa joined Makai Hebi. They went on an adventure. They met several of the dragons. However, there was an unfortunate accident, and Kawa, in a fit of jealousy, ended up murdering Akai Hebi. And he was never able to fulfill his destiny and become the leader of Japan, ending the years of infighting that had been going on. And instead, Japan was, well, not Japan, whatever it's called. I don't know. It's called Horsepan?
I don't know that that's exactly how that happened.
Pony Pan? I mean, more or less. You killed.
He wasn't the same guy. He was like
But he
an
was.
imposter person.
But at the same time, he was functionally identical.
I don't know.
I was trying to keep it short. Actually, explaining that entire thing would take the next half an hour.
I appreciate the brevity.
It was said that Kawa then took the body of Akai Heavy and magically kept it from decaying, and that to this day she still brings the body about with her rolled up in a silken rug and travels the land as a merchant.
Nice.
It's also said that in the future, once cryogenic stasis is invented, that she freezes herself in a Kaihebi until such a time that technology reaches a point where a Kaihebi could be resurrected.
Foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing for a game that has been rebooted and no longer has that as part of it.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, indeed we can.
Awesome. And there's no echo?
Nope.
Cool.
Yeah, at some point I need to go over. Oh, there's a lot of background noise. Okay, it's better. At some point I need to go over what I was planning for our Starfinder campaign before we rebooted it, just so you and Wayne kind of know what was going to happen. But anyway, back to the game. All right. Party has arrived. Minty Chips has no idea what's going on here.
Nope, not really. She's been very distracted with her beautiful, beautiful ship.
You still have like the imprint of the wheel on your face.
Yes. You can see all of the wonderfully carved details in it. Including my name, which I carved onto the wheel. It says, "This ship belongs to Minty Chips, the best pirate ever."
Nice. That is badass that you put that on the wheel. I love it.
Oh yeah. Well, you know that's me, Minty Chips.
So Star kind of like catches that and goes, Minty, we were just talking about you a little bit ago. We were gonna go explore this cave thing with a creature in it, and we thought you might be interested in coming with us."
Ooh, sounds like my kind of adventure. Let me sharpen my sword. Swing, swing, swing.
Cinnamon Star puts the book back before heading outside so it won't get ruined. And then we
Let me sharpen my staff. Wait.
Let me sharpen my magical book. You just shave off some pieces of paper.
That's not the book that talks, right? Because if that's the book that talks, I don't think it would appreciate being shaved.
You mean the singing map?
Yeah, that one.
I'm pretty sure I still have the singing map.
Yes, you do. Caramel Kisses still has a talking backpack, though.
I do.
Yeah, don't sharpen that. I don't think it would appreciate it.
Minty Chips is being left behind.
Well, I was waiting outside the door for Minty Chips, but she wasn't coming.
Keep up, you slowpokes.
Gerbers is continuing to move from one pile of rubble to another.
Hello.
Wrong door, Anna.
Wait, who is that?
Gerbers. This,
Gerbers is the
little
slime guy.
friendly slime guy.
Gal, whatever.
I feel like I should remember this, but I don't.
You missed our little recap, so you'll have to watch the beginning of the video later.
He's just a nice little slime.
He looks cute.
He is humming softly to himself as he cleans up the rubble. Oh no, Cinnamon Star just fell in the hole!
I wondered how long it would take somebody to see where I was.
Okay, well, roll athletics.
I did
Oh no,
not
little
really
Star
do
has
that.
fallen
you
down the
didn't-
well.
What? You didn't jump down a 50-foot hole? Why
Because I am a book person. I have no athletics.
not? So as you guys come back to the hole, there's a new development. There's a little sign out front that says "Taking a nap, leave me alone." Just stuck in the ground outside of the cave.
That's cute.
I don't think we should go in the cave. It seems to want to take a nap.
I think we should say hi. We're the new neighbors.
I agree. I think we should introduce ourselves. Did anyone bring cookies?
But
Cinnam-
Minty Chips don't want you want to go, sail the ship?
But this adventure is calling first.
I'm with Minty Chips.
Ah, peer pressure.
Bwahaha.
Okay.
So I knock on the rocks on the outside of the cave.
Okay.
I yell, knock, knock.
All you hear is a snort and a waft of warm air.
Guys,
Yeah,
I
this does
seriously
sound
think
like
there's
a
a
dragon.
dragon down there. I really think we should leave it to sleep because I really don't want a grumpy dragon on our island.
Okay, maybe he'll wake up soon. Maybe she's right.
That's true. We should leave it cookies.
All right. Well, how about that giant cupcake that Sugar Song is making?
That's where Sugar
Perfect.
Song shows up with a 20-pound cupcake and says, "Did somebody
How
say
are you
cupcake?
carrying that?
I'm stronger than
Does
I
it have
look."
an umbrella?
Yum.
No, it's starting to melt.
Quick, put it inside the cave!
Okay, and Sugar Song shoves it as hard as she can into the cave, and it goes rolling down the hallway, and you hear
Everybody
a splort noise.
Run!
I don't know what we're running from, but wee! And Sugar Song runs. So you hear a splurt noise. Those of you who are hiding behind a tree, still relatively close, hear some very disgruntled sounding snuffles, and then some scraping noises, and then you see the bits of cupcake come spewing out the front of the cave in a small geyser, scattering across the grass in front of it. And then you see a couple of handfuls of dirt get scratched out as well, and then hear some more shuffling, and then a thump.
Fascinating.
Should we say hi?
I think we
No.
should say hi.
No.
But it's
Hello.
rude not to say hi to your neighbors.
We come in peace.
And no response.
Hello. We're your new neighbors. Did you like the cupcake?
Still no response.
Man, whoever
Oh
this
boy,
is, they're
let's
kind of
leave.
rude.
As you're walking away, you catch out of the corner of your eye, it looks like a spindly white hand reaches out and places another sign out in front of the cave. And the sign reads, "Get off my lawn!" And then the spindly white hand quickly retracts back into the entrance. I should say it's a spindly, furry white hand.
They're grumpy, whoever they are. Let's leave them alone.
I agree. We don't need any of that in our lives.
To the ship.
Right. So, you make your way back to the ship. Cogsworth joins you after a few more minutes and says, "Well, I've done what repairs I can. It should hold at least until our return. And hopefully Gerbers is able to keep the place together. He seems to have done a decent job, given its state is actually considerably well off for having been left largely unattended for the last several hundred years. Or, well, the last 100 years or so."
3 cheers for Gerber!
Mr. Grabby has gotten a hold of an entire bunch of bananas from somewhere and is sitting on the tire swing, slowly peeling one and swinging back and forth.
Aww, Mr. Gabby's so cute.
Sugar Song immediately makes her way back to the kitchen. Minty Chips, it seems you've already glued yourself to the captain's wheel again.
Of course.
So, Cinnamon Star addresses Cogsworth. How does he look like he's pretty dry at this point, or is he still kind of wet from working outside?
He's still a little bit wet, but after kind of shaking off a little bit, he pulls out the oil that he had found earlier in one of the previous pirate lords' cabins and kind of does a quick daub in a few places.
Cool. Okay.
So where are we going? Where are we sailing to?
I don't know. We should check in with Bubbles and see if he's found any clues.
I agree.
So, I'm gonna
You
head
guys
to
do
the
that.
library.
Alright, library would be back here. So as you get there, Cinnamon Bubbles has his face buried in a large, heavily leather-bound book with a not embossed. It's actually a metallic pirate skull and crossbones attached on the outside. It seems to be some sort of a decoration made of steel. And he looks up from it, hearing you guys enter, and says, "Oh, sister, you've returned. My voice has changed completely from when Abe plays me. I'm actually intelligent now. Look at me." No, I'm just kidding. He says, "Oh, hey, sis."
Have you found any clues yet?
Or I guess y'all are Japanese. Anissa.
I don't know how to respond to that.
So you would be Onessa because you're the sister. He would be Onisa. If you just wanted to call him brother, but I don't know, however you want. You don't have to do it in Japanese.
Oni-chan.
Just be like, sup.
Sup? Really? Sup?
Sure, why not? That's what I do.
So, Oni-san?
Yeah. Or you'd probably call
Oni-san!
him Onichan. 'Cause small
Oni-chan!
and cute.
Have you found any clues yet? People are a little anxious to get underway, and I'm not quite sure what we're supposed to be doing.
A couple. I have been reading through this incredibly just fascinating legend of Goldie Roger. I really do believe we should head to the Grand Line once we are able to hopefully resolve this whole deal with the main drain. As far as our current quest, though, well, I've been trying to find references to Cantorlantis. It's not entirely clear, really, whether that's even a real place or a myth or um, a label for many places. It all seems very confused. It does appear that at least supposedly the entire place disappeared under the waves, and perhaps that this was due to some sort of an attack from a very large creature. seems to be all I've been able to gather. I know that you mentioned before that there were references to Canterlantis in that singing map that Caramel Kisses over there gave us.
Yes, I was just about to mention that. Camel Kisses, you don't happen to have a spell that would render someone, temporarily deaf?
I don't think I do.
Very well then. I shall be in my quarters if I am needed.
I could always fire off one of my pistols next to your ears. That would do the trick. You moved your brother instead of yourself.
Yay.
You're the one with the black glasses. He's the one with the red glasses.
I don't think the pistol thing should be necessary. That tends to be more permanent than temporary.
True enough. Well, I shall continue reading. And goes back to sticking his nose in the book.
So, how loud is this map? Like, is the whole ship now infested with sea shanties?
Pretty much, yeah.
Nice.
Cogsworth joins Minty Chips up by the steering wheel. I really need to find out what the correct term for that is. The ship's wheel. We'll just call it that for now. The helm. There we go. Perfect. We don't have to talk about the wheel itself. Just say joins her by the helm. And says, well, I suppose we are ready to get underway, Captain.
Wait, where are we going?
I assumed back to Horseshuga. You said that you guys were washed off of a ship and crashed here on the island. I can't imagine that people are entirely calm about the situation. Surely by now they must have mounted some sort of attempt at rescue.
That's true. Oh, I thought we were going to save the world. I guess we can start by saving our friends.
Well, you
All
will
right.
need to stock up. There's not a whole lot in the way of provisions on this ship. We seem to be relatively well stocked on fuel, by which I mean cola, but otherwise, you really are not prepared for long-term sea voyage at this time.
That's true. We need to get more hardtack.
Indeed.
All right. Lower the masts!
Okay, so Cogsworth and Mr. Grabby, Caramel, are you going to help with running the ship?
Yes.
Okay. I'll scurry off and immediately don't know how ships work. Unless one of you has profession sailor. Cogsworth seems to have an idea, but none of the sails can be lowered by a single person. And so, in general, there seems to be a bit of a problem at this point. Does anyone, other than I believe Minty Chips, you should have profession sailor. Does anyone else have profession sailor?
Quick, Minty Chips, now's the time! Sorry, to offer a class!
I should have what?
Profession sailor is one of your skills. I believe I gave that to you.
I'm not seeing it.
Bum, bum, bum. Let's see.
Well, guys, we may be in trouble.
I may have forgotten to give you that. Well, let's just assume that it's going to be based on Dex for now. So let's just use your acrobatics.
So Minty Chips is gonna do that cool thing like in Treasure Planet where the captain goes doing like backflips through the ship's rigging.
There we go. So, Minty Chips, let's get an athletics roll for the time being to see how well you're able to explain the basics of sailing to everybody.
And you said that was acrobatics?
Yeah. For now, until hopefully I can actually... I could have sworn I gave you Profession Sailor. I must have forgotten. Hey, not great.
So you
yeah.
guys, you see, you take that pulley thing and you put that around the loopy thing, and then you go whoop, don't like that.
And everybody just kind of...
I don't get it.
So would you like to try again?
Yes.
So that took you about half an hour with very few tangible effects. You do a little bit better this time. Pretty decent this time, all things considered.
Okay, so we gotta do the thing with the sails when we want to go faster. I got it.
That's right. Now we're getting somewhere. Do the thing with the sail.
So I have a question. How hard would it be to color code all of the ropes?
Relatively easy if you had something to do it with. Okay, you now have a
Because
Profession
I feel like
Sailor
then if
of
she
plus
said
5.
pull
Jenna.
the green rope, we'd know what to do.
There we go.
I like that. That's creative.
So Cinnamon Star and Snazzy Cogsworth go about labeling the ropes with colored handkerchiefs made from the silk that you found in one of the former pirate lord's cabins, or not cabin, but her room on the island of Renewal. And
Yes.
soon enough, you guys have a workable system. Minty Chips begins barking out orders and stumbles at first as she's having to translate between, lower the mainsail to pull on the green rope and let loose the knot on the purple one. But she manages to get the hang of it, and after about 15-20 minutes, you guys are slowly making your way out of the cave entrance.
Aye, Captain. Heave
then-
ho.
In case you missed it, Anna, you now have a Profession Sailor of plus 5.
Awesome.
So yeah, you guys make your way out of the cave entrance into the storm, which is still crashing around you. And as you pull slightly further away from the island, pretty soon you guys are caught by the current that is being created by the enormous whirlpool on the other side. And you see that you begin to start slipping backward toward the whirlpool rather than away from it.
Oh my god! Quick, somebody turn the soda on!
So Snazzy Cogsworth says, "Quite right, Captain. Please turn the dial there to what would it be? 1 and 6? Yes. To where the labels are showing 1 and 6, and I shall head down below deck to start up the engine."
I do the thing.
Yeah, so you can see there's a dial below the wheel that has in the circle around it. Oh, it wouldn't be 1 and 6. It would be 1 and 3. No, 4. Yeah, 1 and 4. Okay. It has the numbers 1 through 6 on it, and the dial shows two circular openings on the left and right, so that you can have at any given time 2 of the numbers that are opposite each other showing in this selector. As you turn it to 1 and 4, you hear the sounds of machinery and grinding gears below deck. And on the sides of your ship, if you can see the picture, there should actually be a number showing. I don't know if you can see that. But right now it's got the 1 showing. Do you see that? That big circular thing?
I'm getting there. Roll20 decided to kick me out of the game for some reason.
Oh, fun. Also, if you refresh your PDF, you should hopefully see your new stats.
Yeah, I refreshed it. I haven't seen it yet, so I'm going to give it just a couple more seconds.
So, are you able to see the ship yet?
Almost.
Almost. Let me check the changes.
I
Yeah,
see
Profession Sailor
the
is
ship.
showing now. Yep, and your PDF is updated. So yeah, you can see that circle kind of toward the center where it's showing a 1. Hopefully.
Wait, what?
Okay. Are you looking at the picture of the ship from profile?
Yes.
Okay. You see a black, well, you can only see the top of it, so it's a loop, or a hump, toward the center of the ship.
Yeah, and then it's got a 1 in the middle of it?
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay, I see that.
It's actually a full circle. Part of it goes under the water, and then you can see the 1 there. On the other side would be the 4, because it's a dial that has 6 options. So the 2 and the 3 would be toward the front of the ship. The 4 would be the one showing on the other side, and then 5 and 6 would be in the back of the ship right now. Does that make sense? What's going on with all that?
I think so.
Okay. Well, cool. So you set it to 1 and 4. You hear it spin around, and then after a few moments, you see large paddle wheels coming out the side of the ship. And then as the engine whirs to life, they begin to turn, moving you forward and giving you sufficient propulsion that you begin once again making your way in the direction you intend toward Horseshuga.
Woohoo!
As you are going about, I would imagine you are looking around. Sugar Song has made her way to the crow's nest, and she shouts down, "I don't see any ships around yet, but I can see Horseshuga off in the distance."
Let's head out that way.
Okay. All right,
At the moment, there are terrible, terrible sea shanties going on.
Well, it's all for me grog, me jolly, jolly grog. All the gun for beer and tobacco.
So if people need Star's attention, you're gonna have to be loud.
You're just sitting there with like big old cotton balls stuffed in your ears, but you're still sweating and making faces because it's still, you can hear it.
It never stops, man, never!
Alright, so it's about an hour, especially fighting the currents and the wind as you make your way back. Cinnamon Star, you're able to translate a bit more, and now that you are specifically trying to look for references to Canterlantis, you find that this is in fact a map, a very old map, by a character that you might remember, Goldie Roger, if I remember correctly.
How very fortuitous!
And it seems to lead the way toward Canterlantis. At this point, the map, as you're reading through it, it seems that everything's quite normal. It's not what you would expect from a submerged city. The way that it's described is as if it were a thriving metropolis.
Oh dear, it sounds like it before it was attacked by the giant whatever that sank it.
Yes, indeed.
All gone for beer
Um,
and tobacco, for I spent all me tin with the lassie drinking
Yeah,
gin.
so
Far
you
across the
guys
west
make your way
Meadows I
back.
must wander,
As you
and
arrive
it's
at
all
Horseshuga,
for
do
me
you
grog,
are you
me
going to
jolly,
continue
jolly
studying
grog.
the map, or do you
All
roll
gone
it
for
back up?
beer and tobacco, for I spent all me tin down on South Street drinking gin. Far across
After I
the
finish
ocean
studying
I
it, I
must
definitely roll it back up. But I probably still hear the music because it's never going to stop now.
Yes. Yeah. So the music is still playing inside your own head, but is blessedly silent for everyone else. And you
Happy
guys,
days.
you guys roll into the port of Horseshuga in your brand new, highly impressive boat. Horseshuga, you feel like is now further away from the island of Renewal than it was when you left earlier that day. And though there seems to be some amount of activity going on, you notice that there's a complete lack of anyone actually looking for you guys. Though several people do notice when a large, incredibly impressive pirate vessel paddles its way under cola power into the bay and docks. You're greeted at first by a number of port security. But then once you guys' faces are seen, they immediately relax, and several of them who knew Minty Chips go running up the gangplank, which they lower onto your ship, and are like, "Oh, we thought we had lost you."
Not that anybody really seemed to care about it.
Oh, well, perhaps you should. Which? Speaking of which, where did you actually dock your boat? Why don't you let me know so I can move your characters to that general area? Um, if you remember from before, the two ends. This would be the less businessy side. This is the more businessy side. This is the house that the previous pirate lords actually had on Horseshuga, but which has since been taken up as the residence of Myrtle, the current Turtle Whisperer. And then over here is the city's largest warehouse where Master Meadows and Sugar Song both have their residence. And then
I feel
the
like
Bubbles house was like right here-ish.
I was gonna say I feel like we should park near where the Bubbles house was. Like most of us lived over,
Right. There you go.
so
Yep. Makes perfect sense. So yeah. You put your boat at, let's just say, this dock here. And yeah, they say, well, about that, it seems like they were hoping to send someone to look for you, but Master Meadows and Myrtle are, well, they're currently in the warehouse, um, arguing over what to do next.
quick, let's go eavesdrop.
All right, so you guys head over there. Um, And pretty soon you find Master Meadows, Myrtle, and many of the other high ranking ponies of the city sitting around a large table. There's a heated argument going on with many ponies yelling in loud voices. From what you're able to pick out, it seems like Master Meadows is in preference of immediately leaving before any damage can be done to Horseshuga or more ships can be lost. While Myrtle, while agreeing that they should definitely have Old Lumpy, the turtle that Horseshuga rides on, make his way away from the storm, that she is still in favor of sending ponies out on some of their faster, more nimble vehicles to see if they can find you out in the waves. Master Meadows, on the other hand, argues that by now, especially in such a rough storm, you are certainly dead or so thoroughly lost at sea that it is pointless to look for you.
Quick, guys, let's just go in and surprise them. Minty Chips, you're the leader. You're the one who has to say, "We're live!"
Or instead of saying we're live, just walk in and be like, I think that we should rescue them, and then everybody will turn around and look at us really funny.
Yeah, let's do that one.
Let's do it. All right. So we're gonna walk into the middle of the room and get close enough to yell, I think we should go save them.
So over the yelling, you're barely even noticed because there are already ponies yelling the same thing. But then Sugar Song slams the door very loudly behind you, and then everybody looks. And seeing you, there are gasps and many ponies jumping out of their chairs. Master Meadows looks abashed for a second or two, and then says, I'm so glad to see that you're all right. How could you have survived such a horrible storm? When we
Well,
saw
no
you
thanks
go
to
overboard.
you.
Well, I mean, you must understand. It was a matter of balancing the lives. It is dangerous going into such an ocean. Who knows if any of our ships could have even broken away from the currents that are being created by that enormous whirlpool. I mean, couldn't just simply send ponies out to their possible deaths.
Yeah, keep telling yourself that.
He abandoned his own daughter!
I mean, not really. It's kind of Sugar Song is everyone's daughter. He just happens to be the one who houses her. But then Myrtle comes up and looks very scrupulously at the five of you. And I should pull out their icons real quick so you can see them again. And Master Meadow. So she looks at the five of you up and down and says, you seem different. What happened on that island?
Who said
You're
anything
never gonna
about being
guess.
on an island?
Well, if you've made it back here, and somebody comes running in and says, the legendary BFF, the legendary SS BFF, it's in the port. I've seen it with my own eyes. The pirate lords have returned.
Busted.
And so Myrtle says, yes, so I believe we now know what's going on. And Master Meadows immediately breaks out into a sweat as she says that and looks meaningfully at him. And goes, oh dear. Well, welcome back, our five new heroes, the Pirate Lords, come to save the day. I am dreadfully sorry that it seems that your initiation has come with such an unfortunate series of events. However, this leaves us very little time. How much do you know?
Like squat.
Well, if you will please accompany me, I must instruct Lumpy to get as far away as possible. We need to head north, I believe, from here. But we're going to need to get some distance between Horseshuga and that whirlpool if we don't want to be drawn in and destroyed. Please meet me at the Pirate Lord's Manse on the northwestern portion of our island. And so then she immediately starts yelling orders at a few other people, including Master Meadows, who kind of looks at you guys, bows very apologetically, and then trots off, having been given the order to acquire provisions for your journey. And then she also takes off toward the south of the island. So little Tommy Two Hooves comes trotting up, bawling, his tears flowing freely from under his single eye patch, and embraces Minty Chips. Minty Chips, I thought you were dead! They said that you...
Don't
I
worry,
would never
Tommy,
be
you
dead
can't
and
keep
leave
a
you
good pony
alone.
down.
I'm so glad that you guys are all right. I felt terrible. It was my idea that you enter the competition, and it felt like it was my fault that you've been washed away to be eaten by the sea. But you guys are heroes now? Is that what I heard?
That's
So
right,
all of
little
a
Tom.
sudden, Cinnamon Star looks over at Cinnamon Bubbles and goes, "You filled out all those forms. How did you
Yes.
cheat?"
I don't believe I did. I have to imagine that this is what they call fate.
Uh-huh. I'm sure.
As hard as it is to believe that all 5 of our names would be chosen out of a hat, that doesn't seem any more unlikely than the idea that after being tossed into the ocean, all 5 of us would be deposited into a tiny hole, into a cave in the island. We could have just as easily been dashed to pieces.
I guess.
Fate.
Righty. You guys make your way to the Pirate Lord's manse.
Yes.
We
Right.
should sail across. I'm too lazy to hike all the way over there.
I mean, there are like wagon services where you have a pony take you on a carriage across to the other side. Sailing is going to be even more work unless you get like a small rowboat, because setting up your ship to actually sail is a good long process.
Okay, that's fair. Shotgun in the carriage.
Now, if you want to, Snazzy Cogsworth does suggest, if you'd like a quick way across, I did mention there were a few smaller vehicles attached to our ship. There's actually a small motorized craft and a submarine that you can take advantage of if you'd like to use those.
Submarine! Submarine!
Definitely the submarine.
All right, so you guys turn the wheel. This time to what numbers are they in? We've already used 1 and 4, so let's say 3 and 5. And on.
Am I gonna need to remember these?
Yes, I'm going to make you remember these.
Quick, Anna, take notes.
So in 3, there is a small motorized craft. It is decorated by a swan. It can probably hold 3 comfortably, and perhaps 5 or 6 if you were to really jam yourselves in there. It's basically like a glorified Sea-Doo, so it's got a little jet of water that sprays out the back. But it's small enough that if you were to have only 1 or 2 people on there, it's very nimble. Though with more people, it becomes a little bit more sluggish to control. In 5, you see a shark-shaped submarine. This one can hold 2 people comfortably, and perhaps 4 if you were to really jam yourselves in there. The mouth opens up into the dome where the pilot would sit and can see out through the transparent bubble within the jaws of the shark. And then there's a hatch in the top just to the fore of what is the dorsal fin. And then the tail in the back has a propeller, which seems to be its means of propulsion, and then obviously the fins are used for steering.
I want to ride the shark.
But we can't all fit in the shark.
I bet if we really squeeze, we can do it, guys. I believe it.
Okay,
Clown shark! Like
Indeed.
clown car.
Exactly. Cut to 15 minutes later, and very sore and slightly pretzel-shaped looking ponies are wobbling onto the dock on the opposite side of the island.
I should have walked.
That was awesome.
Totally worth it!
Yes, there are viewports along the sides as well, so you were able to see some of the sea life. It wasn't terribly active, and what little sea life you did see seems to be panickedly swimming away from this strange weather and the whirlpool behind you. But you did catch sight of a few things. So I'm assuming you guys make your way to the manse.
Yes.
Okay. So you arrive at the manse. You begin exploring. The entire place is very similar in a lot of ways to the building on the island of Renewal that you just finished exploring. However, it seems to be heavily redecorated with many tribal seeming decorations. There are wooden masks, and in a few rooms you even find bubbling cauldrons. And one room is completely overtaken by thick growths of ivy and various other creeping vines and jungle foliage. Scuttling about throughout the entire place are a series of large beetles, about a foot in length, with two-pronged antlers sticking out of the front. And they seem to be carrying about random bits and bobs, leaves and balls of dirt, as well as other items, rearranging and cleaning the entire place slowly but surely. You're greeted at the front door by a very odd looking peppermint striped pony wearing a top hat. He opens the door and says, "Ah, the Pirate Lords, welcome. I've been told to expect you. Please, entrez-vous."
All right, take us to your leader.
I'm afraid that Myrtle won't be returning for a few minutes. I believe she told you that she needs to instruct old Lumpy before she can come back. We wouldn't want to be around here if that whirlpool gets any larger, now would we? And he gives you a dry smile.
So what should we do while we wait?
Make yourself at home. Get comfortable. If you'd like, I can pour you some tea and perhaps get you some biscuits.
I like tea.
I like biscuits.
All right. So he leads you back into the kitchen. Here there are more of those beetles scurrying around. One of them is wearing a tiny little apron and stirring a large metallic pot full of what appears to be some sort of hearty stew. There's already a kettle boiling over a fireplace, and this character um, goes off, and this character being the peppermint striped pony goes off and um, takes it off of the fireplace and bringing several sets of china over to the table, pours out what appears to be a sweetened peppermint tea. Well, it's not sweetened
That's
yet.
my favorite.
It's peppermint tea, and then he says, "One lump or two."
I take mine plain, actually.
Very good. Anyone else? Sugar? Cream?
2 lumps.
Very good. And he provides the 2 lumps. Would you like any cream?
Yes, 2 lumps of cream, please.
I'm afraid cream doesn't come in lumps, but here. And he
At least I hope not.
pours some cream into your tea. And would anyone like biscuits and jam?
Yes,
So
please.
he returns after a couple of minutes with a tin of various assorted quote-unquote biscuits, which I mean in the British meaning, so they're cookies. And 2 different jams. One of them is pretty obviously raspberry, but then the other is kind of a yellow color with little chunks of rind, it appears, in it, but you're not entirely sure what it is.
I'm gonna try it.
All right. So you spread it onto one of the cookies and take a bite. It is a zesty lemon jam.
Yum.
It pairs very nicely with the mint tea.
It's not a jam then, darling. It's a marmalade.
Very well. A lemon marmalade.
My favorite.
Speaking of, would you like to explain the difference? Because I'm actually not 100% clear on it.
As far as I've been able to figure out, the marmalade is when there's citrus peel in it.
Okay.
And a jam is when there is fruit remainder in it. And a jelly is when you have made it with only the fruit or whatever you're using juice.
Okay. Yeah, I knew the difference between jellies and jams, but yeah, that's cool to know about the marmalades. I'll keep that in mind. The more you know. So yes, the tea is quite invigorating. You guys, despite the storm raging outside, sitting by this fireplace in kind of a homey kitchen, drinking tea and eating cookies. It's very nice. As you're sitting there, you occasionally feel something tickling at your hoofs. If you look down, it's actually some of the beetles will occasionally come by, and if they spot dirt or other detritus on you, they'll actually pick it off and kind of carry it away.
I'm gonna lay down on the floor so that they can get to all of me.
Okay. Yes, they begin to pick through you, and one of them wearing a giant blonde wig and various wreaths of flowers about its person actually enters with 2 pairs of scissors, and in a grand flourish begins chopping away at your mane, and then steps away, and your mane is all poofed up and in this beautiful full-bodied set of curls with various flowers placed around it. And then just as quickly, the beetle backflips out of the room and disappears.
Guys, I like these beetles. We need some on the ship.
Agree.
But yeah, you guys are feeling much brighter, and your spirits are raised, if any of them were lowered before. And then after 15 minutes or so, Myrtle once again reappears from outdoors. She's bedraggled and wet, but she shakes herself off and takes a cloak that she's been wearing and places it on a coat hanger by the door. Immediately, beetles converge on her, but she seems to take absolutely no notice of them as she just walks straight in and begins talking to you. Well, I'm glad that you've made it here. We should be, hopefully, at a safe distance soon. I believe you guys said you knew very little about the current situation?
Yeah, we know about as much as, is in a coconut.
That is not a very helpful metric, but I'll try to keep it in mind. Well, let me give you what little I know. Unfortunately, records are sparse, and much has been either accidentally or, and she looks very meaningfully when she says this, purposefully destroyed. However, I'll give you what I do know. There seems to be, every so often, terrible event. Something below the ocean's floor causes horrible weather and an enormous whirlpool to appear. When this happens, the waters of the ocean begin to drain away, And if allowed to continue, I believe not only will the oceans be drained away, it seems that whatever is down there will emerge, and it's quite likely that life as we know it will be ended if this is allowed to happen. I'm afraid, as far as the cause of this event, I don't know much beyond that. It does seem, however, that coinciding with the return of whatever this creature or presence or whatever it is returning, we also see the return of 5 pirate lords. 8 pirate lords, as they're known. I'm sure you remember, as it was only earlier today, that the pirate lords are widely celebrated. We were, of course, having a what's it called? Blanking on the word. Parade. We were having a parade to celebrate their previous victory. There were
Wow,
5.
was that only this morning? That feels like months ago.
Indeed, it's crazy. The 5 pirate lords, they represent the 5 links. The 5. They're each of them represents one of the gems of the triumvirate, which are then representing the different aspects of friendship. There's joy, love, respect, kindness, and loyalty. Each one of you, therefore, must embody one of these specific aspects of friendship. The pirate lords are known by 2 things: by their ship, the SSBFF, which you have clearly retrieved, but then also by the pieces of 5.
What are the pieces of 5?
I believe the only one of you that might have heard of this would be the Cinnamons, might know. But the pieces of 5 are the gems held by the triumvirate. They're said to grant their holders great powers when united. Also, I have heard that they're quite snazzy looking, and might go quite nicely with a set of dresses that you may have retrieved from the island.
Oh my gosh, guys. The dresses. They're put away?
I hope you guys put them somewhere safe. Speaking of, and I doubt anybody actually did this, everybody was supposed to come up with a description of what their dress looks like. But since we're missing players, we'll probably wait until hopefully we have everyone back. So you guys have a little bit more time to come up with a description of your dresses.
Yes, that includes our one boy.
Yes, he still has a dress. It's not trousers, it's not a suit, it's a dress. In fact, it's a rather rare occurrence that there would be a male pirate lord. I'm not aware of this ever happening before. I actually...
Drama!
Yep. The previous pirate lords, they were great heroes. Daisy Petals, Moonstone Glow, Winterthorn, Bumblebee, Golden Glade. They retired from being pirate lords quite some time ago. When I was very young, they went off and nobody's heard of them since. I hope they were able to end their days as great heroes and in great comfort. It seems the burden now falls to you. You must retrieve the pieces of 5, take up the mantle of the pirate lords fully, and then return to the whirlpool. You must defeat whatever it is in there, and return the oceans to their normal state. I'm afraid I don't know much beyond that. Nobody knows where the pieces of 5 are, or how you would get to them. Also, I'm going to point out, for the intelligent ponies in the group, she said she was young when the pirate lords were still around. That would make her
She's like over
really
100 years
freaking
old.
That makes her really,
The
really old.
pirate lords, too, are pretty old because they come back every 250 years.
Mm-hmm.
So they were pirate lords for 150 years.
Well, 100 years is not an exact date. You have to remember Snazzy Cogsworth pasted that data together from Gerber's.
That is true.
But still, even assuming, let's say they were 20 when they started, they retired at 80. Then that means that it would have been 170 years since the Pirate Lords were active. And so, yeah, anyway, just going to point that out as a little bit of a clue being dropped there about Myrtle.
I actually had picked that one up, so yay me!
Yeah. So anyway, so she ends off saying that she's not certain how you guys would be able to find the pieces of 5 or where they would be.
Well, I guess we'll follow the map.
Map? She says quizzically.
I don't know, it's singing map.
Her song's map.
I'm not sure how this connects to anything. You have a map that leads to the pieces of 5?
I don't think it leads to the pieces of 5.
I don't know, guys. I'm just a pirate. I follow maps, alright? That's all I do, okay?
Alright, so you guys, are you just purposefully withholding information from her?
I was gonna let Caramel Kisses talk about it, because it's Caramel Kisses' map.
Because you
Do
guys,
I know about it?
Yeah, you guys do know where the pieces of 5 are. One of the notes left behind by the previous pirate lords said that they returned them to where they were found, and then the mural note says where the pieces of 5 are supposed to be located.
So after thinking a moment, Cinnamon Star
Maybe it
says,
wasn't that note. One of them does send you to Canterlantis, though.
I believe from clues that we picked up, we may actually already have the pieces of 5 in our collection. We found dresses that I would say they possess the pieces of 5 on those dresses, and we moved them into our cabins on the SS BFF.
Ah, fascinating. Might I be allowed to examine these dresses? Okay, it's the Pirate Lord Legacy. That's the one that tells you guys that you need to go to Canterlantis. It says, "It is now your time, and your legacy will shine bright, perhaps brightest of all. Travel to the city of Canterlantis and search out the Flame of 5. Only after this will you have what you need to prevail." Okay, let's just skip this part. You guys know that the dresses are not the pieces of 5.
Oh, okay, cool.
The pieces of 5 will go with the dresses.
Got it. They go with the dresses.
But you guys know, based off of the Pirate Lord Legacy note, which you guys found in... Where did you find that one specifically? Oh, I'm looking at the wrong notes. Let's see. Not that one. Here we go. You found that in the mural. It was when you read the book that was in front of the mural, the one you pressed your hooves into. The letters rearranged themselves to be legible to you, and it said that you would need to travel to the city of Canterlantis. And then you also read in one of the other notes that the pieces of 5 had been returned to where they found them, which, again, presumably Canterlantis.
Cool. I forgot that.
So let's rewind. From clues we were able to find while we were exploring the island, I am strongly inclined to believe that we need to go to Canterlantis to get the pieces of 5.
Interesting. Atlantis. Perhaps a myth, but perhaps not. If it exists, from what I have heard, it seems that you will need to travel very far to the north. You will need to travel north until the seas become cold, and fish fly, and birds swim. Only then will you be nearing your destination.
Guys, this sounds weird. We should totally do it!
I'm fired up. Let's go. Let's leave as soon as possible. We gotta hurry.
All right. Well, hopefully, by this time, Master Meadows will have had your ship fully stocked for the journey ahead of you. Well, good luck. The fate of the world rests upon your shoulders.
Thank you very much for all of your help.
All right, and then we're going to wrap up here. Next time we'll start up with you guys grabbing whatever last few things you want to from the city before taking off, and then journeying off into the seas. So yeah, let's go ahead and wrap up like we always do, and let's start with Caramel Kisses. What has Caramel Kisses learned?
I learned a cool new way to run a ship with people who have no idea how to sail.
Not bad. What about Minty Chips?
Minty Chips learned that she now can sell ships, and also that we're supposed to go to Canterlantis because that's where the gems are.
Yes, the pieces of 5, which are maybe coins, maybe gems, maybe something else entirely. You'll have to find out. And Cinnamon Star, what has she learned?
Cinnamon Star learned that she needs to take better notes because memory is fallible.
Yep. Or at least check up on the notes that I have provided you. That would help as well. But definitely try to take notes, especially since this happened all in less than 24 hours, but it's been months and months of real life time. It's easy to forget stuff. Alrighty, well, thanks everybody for joining me, and I will see you guys all next time. Bye!
Bye! Bye!